In this lesson, we are going to talk about tipping. So a tip, which is sometimes called a gratuity, is a payment made to a certain service sector worker in addition to the price of the service. The amount of the tip is usually calculated as a percentage of the transaction value before taxes. Some of the people we tip include taxi drivers, servers or waiters, hairdressers or barbers. And here are some general guidelines on how much to tip. Now, these are very general, depends on where you are and how happy you are with the service, but in general, a hairdresser or a barber, we tip 15%. A food delivery driver is usually about 10%. A waiter, 15 to 20%, depending on the service. If it was really good, you're going to go closer to 20. If it was okay, 15. A bartender, same thing, 15 to 20. And a taxi driver, we typically tip 15%. So we have an example here. So it says the Trey family went out for dinner. Their total bill before taxes came to $56.89, and they want to give a 15% tip. So the first thing that we always need to remember to do is we need to convert 15% to a decimal. So we did this earlier in class, and so I'm going to do it a little bit over here too, where we're going to find our decimal place. So it is after the 15, and we are going to move it 2 bumps, 1, 2, to the left. So that's going to give us 0.15. Once we know our percentage, we're going to multiply by the amount of our bill. So we're going to use our calculator for this. We're going to put it in, and we're going to get $8.53. Now, typically, we do round it up to a whole dollar, so we're going to round to the closest dollar. So in this case, our 5 means that we are going to bump this up, and we're going to go to $9. Now, if you're doing it on a machine with your debit card or your credit card, sometimes we do just put this 8.53 in. We often round it to a nearest dollar if we are leaving cash. Okay, so if we are leaving cash for our server, then that is the time that we typically round it to the nearest dollar. So I'm going to do, I'm going to talk a little bit about this chart here, and it does kind of help you out. It is completed for you, so you don't have to do it. And so it talks about some general amounts, and these are good things to kind of know. But we can see that if our bill is $10, our tip is 15%, we're going to pay about $1.50. Plus we have taxes that we have to pay in Canada, so that's going to be about another 50 cents. So overall, we would pay $12. So as you go through, you can kind of see how the tip, how much we add for a tip, depends on how big our bill is. And then we also have that GST, which is a 5%. It's always 5%, and how that changes our overall bill. So for the questions, we are going to use this table, and to sort of make it a little bit easier, we are going to do a little bit of converting here. So 15% is always going to be 0.15. We already did that on the first page. Our food delivery is always going to be 0.10. Here we have 15 to 20%, so this would be 0.15 and 0.20. Oh, I ran into my guy there. 0.20 would be 20, and then we have our 15 to 20 and 15 to 20. So just remember, because I ran into that over there, this is 0.20. So we're going to do a couple of questions here, and then you have some that you are going to do for yourself. So Helen got her hair cut and colored. It cost $105 before taxes. How much should Helen leave as a tip? We're going to round to the nearest dollar. So she got her hair cut. So that means that we are going to use this one here. We're going to use 15%. So we're going to go, and we always talked in class about writing an English sentence and then a math sentence. So I always want to know, what is 15% of $105? And that was the English sentence we talked about in class. And then we're going to turn it into math. So 15% is 0.15. Of always tells us to use the multiplication button on our calculator. And 105 is already a number which goes into our calculator really nicely. And when I put that into my calculator, I'm going to get $15.75, or I should tip my hairdresser, or Helen should tip her hairdresser $16. So when you are going through, take a look. You're going to look at which one of these services you are using. So here Pat is using a taxi. So that means that Pat needs to use 15%. And we're going to follow the same pattern each time.